Fingers crossed. No more wardrobe mishaps, hopefully. Oh, goodness gracious. Everybody, what are we even doing? What's even happening here in this country? Yeah, people are crazy. All right. Well, no worries. We'll all be going through the crazy together then. At least there's that, right? Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Let me get my rings on. Ooh, which rings tonight? I need to just stay focused on one small task at a time. Just one little task at a time. Anything more than that's too much for my brain. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, well, see, even making this choice on my rings is getting difficult here. So, let me see. We have, no, I don't want that one. Oh, yes. Okay, I found one. I found one, and then, do you want to do this one? Let's see. I do have a pink. Maybe I should do a pink one. Pink one and a blue one? No, I'm not sure. Ooh, here's rose gold and pink. That's kind of fun. Man, I don't really like the shape on that one. Hello. Hi, Willie B. Hello. Hello. Good evening, Chris. Hello. I'm just grabbing my rings. Oh my gosh, I want to wear this one, but it actually this is not sponsored. This is my own personal collection. Not sponsored. But I really like this one, but the shape doesn't look quite right. So, hello. Hi, Betharoni. We're going to be, Tina. We are going to be continuing with the Jack Smith transcript today. Yeah, super sparkly. I love it, but I don't know. I'm not, again, not sponsored, but I don't know. It's not quite the right shape for me. Hello. Is it a Carrie? Carrie Anderson 45. Hello. All right, well, let's try this one. It's not as sparkly, but no, can't do that one. I'm almost ready. I'm almost. Sorry. Here we go. Oh, okay, I got it. Thanks so much, Duchess. Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet, Chris. Very sweet of you. Hello, Dolphin. Welcome. All right, everybody. What's been going on? It's crazy out there. Somebody hit the crazy button. And I'm like, what? I don't think we're supposed to do that. Just, whatever that was done. But, whatever. I'll let you know if we need the bunker, although we're a few steps closer to it today. So, all right. Welcome. Hello, hi, Thomas. Hello. Yes. It didn't take long, did it, Jilly Kelly? Yes, the Mondero indictment. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Things are about to get super hot here. Hot. One of my biggest problems here, well, I've got a lot, but one of the things that's really puzzling to me, I'm not sure. Okay, who remembers, this is a really, really old road I'm going to take you down here, everybody, but who remembers, Dog the Bounty Hunter? I don't know, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, that a fella in Hawaii, and he had this weird long, achy breaky heart situation going on with his hair, and he worked for a bond, or he had a bonds company. Anybody remember him, the dog? Right, all right, thank you very much. So he was they would film and all of that kind of stuff. Well, I don't remember what year this happened either, but I can't remember his name now, the bad guy that had allegedly unalived his wife in the ocean was a Estee Lauder, heir or whatever. I can't remember his name either. Super, super bad fella. Watch the show all the time. Yes. So it was a super crappy person, right? And what had happened was he had fled. He fled down, I believe, to Mexico in order to not get caught and have to be brought back and go through the situation, right? Hello, Kaya. Hello. So, when they brought him back and put him through the system, because Dog the Bounty Hunter was like, woohoo, we got him. And he's like, yay, that's all right. And then they took him to jail because they're like, listen, dog, You're not allowed to just go into other countries and kidnap people. Like, you're just not allowed to do that. That's against the law. And that's what he had done in Mexico. He wasn't in the US, he was in Mexico, I believe. So one of my big problems here that I'm having is, like, I'm not sure you're supposed to go into other countries and just, like, kidnap leaders and stuff, right? I mean, right? Hello. So that bothers me a lot. Hello, Justice. Hello. Oh, yes, blue dot. Sorry. I talk with my hands a lot. My thumbnails are angry today, so these are the only ones that worked. Oh my gosh, I really do like this particular set. I think it's really fun and sparkly. Yay! All right. That's your biggest issue too. Yeah, isn't that a war crime? Well, it's a good question. You know, the war crime discussion gets, oh, thank you so much. The wartime discussion gets skewed, gets into the gray zone when we don't technically have Congress involved, first of all. And so then you're looking outside of the United States and how do they define, the international community define that as well. So, you know, you're going through the UN, you're going through the International Criminal Court or the IC whatevers, all of that kind of stuff in order to put people into place that can have the authority to straighten it out and be like, dude, you're not supposed to be kidnapping people. The way they did it was illegal, Dolphin. Exactly right. Exactly right. Do we even have a Congress anymore? I think they're making a comeback, honestly, Blue Dot. I tell you, the scuttlebutt that I'm hearing, it's like it's in the corners where it's dark, but yeah, I think that there's some changes coming here. Not that great, but, you know, at least it's something. At least it's something, right? How's the subject, how is he subject to U.S. law? Well, that's again where we get real crazy, right? We get bonkers. So if we've got, in my opinion, if you were going to run this like a regular case, like a regular criminal case, you would need to have some kind of an indictment situation. Now, they've got the charge, I think, is what they use to get him out of the country. Although, you know, you just use whatever you want to use when you're not following the rules. But that's part of it. And so there has to be some kind of probable cause. Now, I know there's like political theater involved here, but we still have the most basic fundamental pieces of our legal system that have to be complied with. So we've got some probable cause questions. Reasonable suspicion has like left the building. So there are going to be some of those kinds of questions. But if we were maybe 8 years ago, and we still had the USA Patriot Act running, I would be incredibly worried. But the final piece of the Patriot Act has run out. So no piece of that act is still in play. So I'm just not sure what the next bit will be that they're relying on to try to make it seem like what they did was legal. So that's kind of it. Oh, the indictment's public now, VC. Oh my gosh. Oh, VC, how many pages is it? Is it like 50 pages? Are we... Ooh. Was a pardoned Honduras president tried and imprisoned here in the U.S.? So I don't have a lot of background on that dude. Smith or Maduro. Yeah. Hi, KKS. Whether the Patriot Act sunsetted. Yeah, so, and Chris, that's a great question. Everything about the Patriot Act, like that was a full on, everybody, you know, grab your flags, we need to go protest, because that was awful. That was a really crappy situation. And we had one little piece of it that just kind of hung on forever, like the Alien Enemies Act did, where it didn't quite finish up at the time, but it is now done. So there are pieces of it that have been put into other pieces of legislation, but the act itself has been dissected. Maybe that's not right. It's on the DOJ page. First was really? Okay, VC. Should I print it? DC? Or VC? DC. Sorry. Sorry about that. Let me see here. Oh my goodness gracious, everybody. We just like, why is everything so bonkers, right? Okay, so Department of Justice, such that it is. Here we go. Here we go. Indictments. Oh, there's a new indictment. Ooh, there's a sealed superseding indictment. Is it open? Hold on here. Sorry, everybody. Ooh, well, looky loo. My goodness gracious. Let me just print this one out. Now I'd like to see the original indictment though. Do they have that in here? Was that the only one they've got? So Department's 2020. Oh no, we've got a 2020 indictment. Jeez, man, oh my goodness. Why are you people so bonkers? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. He's so ridiculous. All right. So I've got those printing. So, okay, yeah, I got it. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. Thanks, Micah. Exactly right, exactly. So, trying to distract from Jack Smith's testimony. Well, right, pretty much anything is at this point. So, print it, yes. So what I would like to do, again, a lot of you that have been hanging out with me, I've got 3 rotating topics right now that we're working on during these lives. All right. So the first one, of course, is the forgotten history here of some of the most important historical cases when it came to equal protection and slavery. So we're going through those. Right now, we did Dred Scott a piece of that, but I'm going to do another piece of that, and then we need to get into Plessy versus Ferguson. So that's one road we're going down. Another road has to do with our trans community right here. Am suing a state. So they're suing Maine because they don't like their athletic policies, because they're quote unquote too woke or whatevs. So that's my second piece. And then my third one that we've been working on, everyone, has been the Constitution. Now we've made it through Article 1 and Article 2. So we have moved into Article 3. And then, of course, we've got the 27 amendments after we get through those first 7. So, of course, I'm happy. I'm happy to help. And if that helps, if you learn anything or at least don't feel as stressed, that's what happens for me. Every time I come on, I'm like, all right, we're going to be all right. So those are kind of my rolling topics. But tonight I had wanted to go through more testimony on Jack Smith because, of course, that is available online for you to watch. Yes, New Year's. But honestly, sometimes going through the transcripts with a little bit of legal, analysis can be very helpful too. So there is so much going on, Big Grandma. I agree. So, well, let me poll you here. Yeah, I know exactly. All right, Doughboy, here we go. Let's do a poll. However you all want to do it. So, do you want me to read through? And I can do both. Do you want me to do the indictments of the Venezuelan first? Tonight, we've got an indictment and a superseding indictment, kind of doing an overview of that, or dive back into Jack Smith. Now, what I will say is if we do put him on the back burner, was planning to go live tomorrow morning. So that's whenever the next one would be coming out. What are we thinking? Venezuela? All right. Jack Smith. Oh, I know, right. Okay, the indictment. All right. Ooh, Jack Smith. Okay, Ellen, I see you. So, again, oh dear, now we're getting, the fight. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think, okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, I tell you what, why don't we do the indictments? You know what we might do? Let's split it. Let's go Solomon. All right. Oh, no, I don't mean that to be insulting to people who follow Solomon. I just got myself packed into a corner, everybody. Okay, I'm sorry about the Solomon comment. Put that aside. Let's do this. Let's split it. And we'll do the first half, we'll get through the indictment. Then the second half, let's go back in and read a bit more. All right. So let's do, I know. I'm sorry, everybody. Apologies. So we'll do that and then we'll flip back. I think that'd be good too. I think sometimes it can get a little bit, boring, quite frankly. If you're reading like, page 65, it's like, what? Okay, here we go. This one, I've got, I tell you, everybody. No, Thomas, no. Don't bring it back up. I don't know why I've been like reading the stories in the BIBLE, for fun, because that's a bit of a dry read as well. All right, here we go, everyone. I do have the indictment out here. So, and someone had asked me the other day how much paper I use, and so I've been kind of watching, and I probably go through one ream of paper per 48 hours. So that's kind of what I have, and I do print both sides unless it's like a cardstock situation, something like this. So, but that's the rate. So we just got new paper. That's what I was worried about. Oh, yes. Oh, it's all recycled. Absolutely. Novels. Well, yeah. So in my community here, such that it is, even though we're out in the sticks, we still, when it comes to paper, have a very important task. So our whole area kind of separates the paper that we are needing or that we're not needing anymore and give it to the people asking for it. So if it was something else, like if I was making 50-gallon drums of tomato sauce, I would be like, oh, protect the planet. But for me, nope, it goes where they ask it to go. Oh, yes. So we haven't made that determination yet as to whether or not it's legal, but I think that that's an important question, actually. All right. Here we go. Let's take a peek at this again, and I'm gonna just kind of set my timers. And if I've got a couple of friends in here, Thomas, maybe if you can, that if you could keep track of the time for me, we'll do an hour here, and then we'll do 45 minutes with Jack. All right. Oh yeah, I think kidnapping, and even at this point, you could see the planning for the kidnapping would also be a crime. Because that seems like that's where that all occurred. Had to be a lot of planning. Thank you, Thomas. Of course, if you get tired, just tag in a friend, phone a buddy. All right, everyone. This is the hot business here going on. You have a degree. Oh, great. Love it. That's right. It was illegal. You got it. So let's just crack this open. I've not seen it. So thank you, everyone, for telling me and VC pointing me in the right direction, as always. Very thankful. Let's take a look first at what we've got. Now, this is really important to me that I don't continuously get the pronunciation wrong here on this case. It's too big of a case, and so I want to make sure I start how I'd like to finish. So I have been saying his name as Maduro. Is that right? Thanks, VC. Thank you. Hello, squirrels. Oh, of course. Right, which sandwich. Sorry, I was thinking about a sandwich. Is that right, Maduro? Is that the right way to say that? I just want to make sure. Yes. Okay, that's correct. Okay, thank you. Y'all know I've got some little name issues. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Sin. Appreciate it. Okay, Rock Doc. Oh my gosh, best name ever. I love it. All right, so Mr. Maduro here. So let's just get this pulled and then take a look here. So I'm just going to refer to it, to this whole case as the Maduro case because there's so many people involved, right? Not necessarily so many people, but a lot of different names. So we've got multiple versions of different names here. This one here, the first one, is the regular indictment. This was charged 2020 here, but if you look and you see what they did, we've added a superseding indictment. Now, for those of you who've been with me for a while, the superseding indictment is actually relatively unusual, almost extinct, I would say, at the state level. But with the feds, you just never know. It seems to me like a superseding indictment may come in because again, at the Fed level, they're running around trying to solve actual crimes, and so when they find another one they can add onto a particular set of facts, and they try to do that, right? So we do have a superseding indictment on this one. So right now, We've got, right, I'll pull, now I can't, oh, all right. Oh boy, we'll just call it the chicken. Oh my gosh, the chicken. From now on, it's the chicken. Oh my gosh, look at this Santa hot cocoa, everybody. Oh my gosh, I didn't change any of my goals. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. So, again, what happens when you have a superseding indictment? Back in it, everyone. I've got an hour. We got to set up, knock it down so we can get over to the Jack Smith stuff, too. So, what happens when you've got a superseding indictment is that you have got to call in another grand jury. So a grand jury came in and had to go forward with the same protocols that you would do on any indictment in order to see if there was probable cause, who the person was, and then move forward. All right, so that whole process for superseding indictment has to be gone through. You can't just like attach, the document when you're sending it in the email. Can the DOJ now search? Excuse me. My throat's a little bit. All right, can the DOJ now search the files of the palace we just took over and bring new charges? Oh, absolutely, they could. Absolutely. I don't know. I mean, we can run this down two roads, and how I was looking at it was we can run it down the Vietnam road, which I'm not sure is really that accurate anymore because we do have multiple countries here, there, and everywhere, but it's a little bit different. We don't already have a helpful presence there already. So there's the Vietnam road where it's like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a nightmare. And then we also then have the Hussein road, right? The Saddam Hussein road to go down. Yes, hey grandma, here's my tang. So we've got that. So I think I'm thinking this is gonna go down the Saddam Hussein road as opposed to Vietnam. Originally, I thought it'd be a Vietnam situation, especially because of Congress, but I'm not sure anymore. So if we go down the Hussein road, what we're going to see is, and the reason why I brought this up is because of what the U.S. troops did to his castles and his expensive places. And, they did a bunch of stuff on there. Now, whether that was illegal or not, really for me, I don't do military laws. I don't know. But I do know they just ripped through any of his residencies looking for stuff. So I would imagine, they'll find some stuff. Of course, sorry, that's my tang here. Legitimate way for them to bypass Congress approving of Trump. So I'm glad you asked that, everybody. Here's the thing, right? When we're all like, well, this is a pile of, awfulness. But it's not that unusual. I have a chart. Hold on here, I'm grabbing my chart. Let me see. Well, maybe I don't have it printed. Hold on, let me look again. I have a chart basically of all of the times. Oh no, I think it's over on the other side. All of the times that American presidents have done something similar to this without the support of Congress. And there have been a few times, right? So if we look at the Korean War, which is what we call it, it was never designated that. It was a police action, was how they deemed it. And we've also got, oh shoot, I just forgot the name of the nutmeg place. Oh no, what's it called? I think Grenada. All right. Sorry, Grenada. And a few other skirmishes like, Desert Storm and such. All of that was not approved by Congress. The one thing that was approved, though, was the very beginning of our Middle East stuff right after September 11th. So then we had some more, we had a very much more understanding Congress that were like, go get him, go do it, take care of business. Civil rights, what are those? We don't care. But that's really the only time. So we've had a lot of people dinking around with this kind of stuff. And of course, the last biggest dink would have been for World War II, which, that makes sense. That's another reason why the TikTok ban to me is so weird is because there's 5 countries listed as, I guess, opponents of the U.S., like the bad guys, and they just decided who they were. Congress was like, these 5 are the ones. Like, oh, all right, there you go. Oh, thank you so much. First president that gloated about it on social media. Well, and that's the thing, though, isn't it? That is the thing. And I would have to say George W. Bush and the Orange are very similar in some ways. In other ways, no. But in some ways, they are. And one of the things is, when you think of the Orange, is that he's a used car salesman, right? He's like, oh, look, we got this car. Everybody wanted this car, but we're the only ones that could get it. And we're cleaning it up. So who wants to buy the car? And it's like, you can't sell the car. That's illegal. And he's like, I don't care. Cash only. That's kind of what we're dealing with. So a lot of this, of course, is just being blown up to a lot of the media has made it much larger as well. All about the money, exactly. Snake oil, yes, Victoria, yes. That's my alternative name for the big, beautiful bill, is the snake oil bill. Super top secret CIA operation. Oh, good, because, it's good to share that information. Frustrating. All right, let's dive in here, everybody. I'm going to focus on the most recent filing as far as the superseding goes here. My understanding, hold on here. What's the date on here? My understanding is this was just filed. Is that right? The second one? The first one had been filed a couple of years ago, but now we're in, yes, I agree, Sheila. But now we're in this zone. Let me see here. Again, I think it was filed just today, wasn't it? Where's the timestamp here? Gotta get the date right. No messing around with a bad date here. All right. Right. Could be. Might. He might, pardon him. This is just the indictment on the Maduro situation. Hold on, let me pull, yes, it's the most recent one. It refers to 2025 incidents. Okay, because it just came out today, didn't it, VC, or yesterday? I mean, it's like hot, hot, hot. All right, so we'll say the most current one without a specific date. But this was on the Department of Justice's website today. All right? Right. Got it. Okay, thank you. Oh, Micah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Published to us today. Okay, all right, here we go. So we've got this fella here. I will admit I've not paid too much attention to the politics of Central and Southern America. I've not really paid too close of attention. Like I've got one eye. Like, hey, what's going on, Mexico? But other than that, I don't really spend a lot of time in that area. Oh my gosh, look at that name, Diosdado. Oh, what an amazing name. I know they're bad guys, but names can be cool too, though, right? Anywho, so I don't really know a lot about this part of the world. So for any of you in the comments who have taken a class, researched, or just based on discussions with others, feel like you would like to chime in with information to help us all learn what's happening here, feel free. Here we go. Now this one, all right, I'm just going to hit Flores. Flores, that's one I've got. How to sue our representatives, because change the name, you got a lawsuit. I'm not sure. I try to help people get through the process, but I'm not sure, because again, every state's different. Hi, Conchi, sorry, I don't know which one it is, but let's write this down and I'll dive in. I'm super chatty tonight, everybody. I don't know, I blame the tank. All right, so here we go. We're just gonna call this the Maduro here. I won't say the DRUG word, because that just, I'm just worried I'm gonna get dinged. But most of the other words should be okay. So this is the indictment here. Okay, indictments. Hopefully that's easier to read. Is that okay, Kaya? I always depend on your eyes. Like if Kaya says it's clear, then we're all right. We're good to go. Squirrels everywhere. All right, here we go. So we've got the indictment, and this is going to be S4. 11 CR. I know I am chatty tonight. Can you explain a charge on U.S. laws not within U.S. jurisdiction? Jobu, I tell you, That's bananas. When I heard that earlier today, I like almost fell off my chair. I'm like, I'm sorry. Well, I didn't think it went that way. The law and the teachings. I thought, well, maybe I missed a day at law school, but nope. You're not supposed to go into other countries and just kidnap people and then bring them back to this country in order to charge them with this country's laws, right? That's crazy. Yep. Crazy, crazy. Um, thanks, Aaron. Oh, you're so sweet. How do we get the whole family in the U.S. without a green card? Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't know. Let's dive in, everyone, before I get myself into too much trouble. Hold on. I think we need. No, hold on here. Here we go. Boy, it's so hard for me to choose my pens. I don't know why. It's a thing. Here, let's do this one. This one looks okay, right? Is this one okay, or do you think it won't be taken seriously because of the terrorism that we'll be reading about? Man, we'll do this one. Grand jury. Yeah, so the grand jury again is for clarification, is the one that comes in and says there's enough probable cause to indict someone. That's where the grand jury's at. So here, because this is superseding, we had another one that had been filed before. They've added things to it. So this is like the first one, but with more stuff in it here. And if you're going to do a superseding indictment, you need another grand jury to find the probable cause. Right? Yes. That's right, Labubu. Oh my gosh. So we do have grand jury charges here going on. Real quick here, we know we're in federal court, everyone, because it's the United States of America versus the other. If this was the state of New York, or if this was the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I don't know which one's the Commonwealth. You know, the frou-frou-y ones, the fancies. We were here early, so we're going to be a Commonwealth. Like, all right, dudes. So that's going to be a state case. We know it's federal because of that. And then we've got grand jury charges in here. We've got to remember our order when it comes to which cases see what. So the very first grand jury is for an indictment, right? And that's where we need probable cause to prove a particular person is very likely to have committed the criminal acts. We've got the grand jury. Now, after that, we go to trial. And lots of things happen. But if we're going to trial, we're going to have a trial jury. All right? So sometimes this is referred to, the grand jury is over here, the one making the basic decision, but then when we get into trial, we have a different jury. So I just like to clarify that with our different jury kinds. It very well could. Oh, Rob, yes. So my DMs are open, so you can feel free to, drop me a something if you want me to take a look, or we could chat about it for surezies. All right, we're in the grand jury territory here, and it's looking like we're gonna be. I think Are they already in jail in New York? That I don't know. Here's our introduction. For over 25 years, leaders of Venezuela have abused their positions of public trust and corrupted once legitimate institutions to import tons of, I probably shouldn't say that word, but should we just call it coca? You think that would be all right? They're in New York, right. Yes, I mean, New York is just split jurisdictionally, so I would imagine it's because this is where they have the grand jury. The snow. Oh, all right. Coca, well, okay. Being processed now. Okay, thanks, CC. All right, well, yeah, good word change. Okay, should it be snow then? All right, Shelly, that's too far. Too far, Shelly. The C, I don't think I could say DRUG, cola light. Goodness. Oh my gosh. All right. That's the one we're going to use. Don Jr.'s candy. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. All right. Professional, be professional. No. All right. Well, let's everybody think about it. We'll come back. We'll do a vote. All right. Aspen cola. Okay, sorry everybody. All right, I was chatting. Now I got the giggles. Let's get back to it here. Here we go. Import tons of sugar. I don't know. I feel bad now. Hi, Sugar. I'm glad you made it out of your military work. I appreciate you. Into the United States. Number two, Maduro, the defendant, is at the forefront of that corruption and has partnered with his co-conspirators to use his illegally obtained authority and the institutions he corroded to transport thousands of tons of the snow to the United States. I'm not sure. Powder? All right, let's do powder. Of the powder, since his early days in Venezuelan government. Oh my gosh, I laugh only because the only interaction that I personally have ever had via my job was it was a cookie, is what we called it. It was like a Coca-Cola cookie. We didn't have just the plain regular, because we're out in the sticks, all right? But that's what I just call it, the cookie. All right. Okay. No. My goodness. Oh, I got to get myself sorted out. Here we go. All right, illegally obtained authority and the institutions he corroded to transport thousands of tons of the cookie to the United States. Since his early days in Venezuelan government, Maduro has tarnished every political public office he has held. Can't think of anyone else that's done that. As a member of Venezuela's National Assembly, Maduro moved loads of the cookies under the protection of Venezuelan law enforcement. All right, I think it's going to have to be cookie because it makes me laugh every time. Powdered sugar cookie. As Venezuela's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Maduro provided Venezuelan diplomatic passports to the rug traffickers and facilitated diplomatic cover for planes used by money launderers to repatriate. Oh, I think I hit the P too hard on that. That's all right. You know what I'm saying? The rug proceeds from Mexico to Venezuela. Oh, wait a minute. Is he only because that's not our jurisdiction either. Just, as Venezuela's president and now de facto ruler, Maduro, here we go, allows cookies fueled corruption to flourish for his own benefit, for the benefit of members of his ruling regime, and for the benefit of his family members. Right here. Number three, Maduro, the defendant, now sits atop a corrupt, illegitimate government that for decades has leveraged government power to protect and promote illegal activity, including rug trafficking. That rug trafficking has enriched and entrenched Venezuela's political and military elite, including Minister of the Interior, Justice and Peace, Rondon. I'm not saying that name right. We'll call him Rondon, the defendant and former Minister of the Interior and Justice, Rodriguez Jackson. Vote in the poll. There it is. Little clipboard in the corner, everybody. The massive scale of rug trafficking has also concentrated power and wealth in the hands of Maduro's family, including his wife, the purported First Lady of Venezuela. We'll call her Flores de Maduro, the defendant, and Maduro's son, member of the Venezuelan National Assembly. So Ernesto Maduro Guerra. I'm going to say that one wrong too. Or also known as Nicolasito, the prince. Oh dear, that's not right. Radon. Okay, thank you. Okay, Radon. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget, everybody. I do appreciate the help with that. That's a tough one here. All right, here we go. So the prince, the cycle of narcotics-based corruption lines the pockets of Venezuelan officials and their families. Polls up, everyone. I'm just going to look. I'm not going to touch anything because I can get into trouble here. Oh my gosh, the powdered sugar cookie. Yes. For the win. I think that's what we should always call it. Oh my goodness, that's fun. All right, back to it. Here's the prince. Here's the narcotics-based corruption, right, benefiting violent narco terrorists who operate with impunity on Venezuelan soil and who help produce, protect, and transport tons of powdered sugar cookies to the United States. Yikes. And that's been going on for a really long time too, everybody. One of the big questions is like, well, why today? What made today different than the last 20 years? Right? So what is it that, they got up and said, well, let's just do this. I don't have anything else to do. Let's do this one today. That's a really good minute. What happens to Maduro when the DOJ screws this up? Great question. And I'm not sure. Again, we have, as Jobu said, right? As Jobu said, we're we went to another country, grabbed a couple people, set off some stuff, and then now we're trying them in the United States federal courts. Like, what are you doing here? Right. True. Right. And I think, again, of course, this is something to distract us, but I think it's good to have our knowledge about it here. So at various times since in or about 1999, Venezuelan officials, including Maduro, Cabello, Radon, is that right? Radon, and Ramon Rodriguez, here, the defendants, have partnered with narco terrorists from the Fuerzas Armadas Revolucionarias de Colombia, also known as FARC. And this one, also known as ELN. The Sinaloa cartel, the Zetas, the Tren de Aragua, TTA, including the leader, Hector, also known as Nino Guerrero, the defendant. In sum, Maduro and his co-conspirators have for decades partnered with some of the most violent and prolific drug traffickers and narco terrorists in the world, and relied on corrupt officials. Again, they've been doing this for months. We still don't even know like what was the trigger this time instead of like before, right? All right. So throughout the region, to distribute tons of powdered sugar cookies to the United States. Here we go. Defendants. Number 5, Maduro, the defendant, a Venezuelan citizen, was previously the president of Venezuela and is now, having remained in power despite losses in recent elections, which is very controversial. How those elections went down, very controversial. The de facto but illegitimate ruler of the country. Right, so everyone knows what de facto means, right? I'm just going to put the term of arts over here and never call them term of arts again. All right, so we have de facto versus de jure. So it's like what it's supposed to be versus what it actually is. So that's why they keep tossing that in here. No. Here we go. So Moros also previously held a seat in Venezuela's National Assembly between in or about 2000 and in or about 2006, acted as the Venezuelan Minister of Foreign Affairs between in or about 2006 and in or about 2013. And wait, didn't they just say this up here? They did, that's right. And acted as Vice President of Venezuela in or about 2013. Maduro succeeded to the Venezuelan presidency after former President Hugo Chavez died in or about 2013, and during Maduro's own presidency continued to participate in powder sugar cookie trafficking with cookie dealers and narco terrorist groups. in or about 2018. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Again, it's like, well, all these years, we're going all the way back to the 2000, right? To the 2000, he'd been doing stuff. But for some reason, today was the day that it had to get called out. Maduro declared victory in a disputed and internationally condemned presidential election in Venezuela in or about 2019. Venezuela's National Assembly invoked the Venezuelan Constitution and declared that Maduro had usurped power and was not the legitimate president of Venezuela. Nonetheless, Maduro continued to exercise the powers of the Venezuelan presidency, causing more than 50 countries, including the United States, to refuse to recognize Maduro as Venezuela's head of state. In or about 2024, Venezuela held another presidential election that was again widely criticized by the international community, in which Maduro declared himself the winner despite widespread condemnation. So, I mean, we're getting a little closer to where we are now, but still, I mean, that's like, is that the one or that tipped it or not? No, we just don't know. Okay, I've got to remember how to say this. Rondon, right. Diosdado, we'll just do that one. Look, Diosdado, the defendant, a Venezuelan citizen, is the Minister of Interior, Justice, and Peace, a member of the Venezuelan Armed Forces, and the Vice President of the ruling United Socialist Party of Venezuela. Interesting. I think there's another name for this party. Actually, I'll need to look that up. All right, so Cabello, nope, Rondon. Oh my gosh, everybody, seriously. Okay, Radon, got it. So Radon is widely recognized as one of the most powerful officials in Venezuela. Radon previously acted as chief of staff to Chavez in or about 2001, vice president of Venezuela in or about 2002. Call him Ronnie. All right, that's perfect. Oh my goodness. Remember that time when we were talking about kidnapping people from other countries, starting basically a war, but yet the names were fun. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. Governor of Venezuelans, Miranda State, between in or about 2004 and in or about 2008. Let me make sure I've got the right page going here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Here, and President of Venezuela's National Assembly here in 2012 and in 2016, between in or about 2017 and in or about 2020. Ronnie acted as a member and president of Venezuela's National Constituent Assembly. That's interesting. I wonder how that works. I might need to look that up. Interesting. Following the illegitimate creation of the National of the National Constituent Assembly. Oh, shoot, I was going to look it up, but then they're like, no, it's not legitimate. Oh, that's not cool, people. Which siphoned the constitutional powers of Venezuela's National Assembly and further entrenched Maduro's regime. Following the dissolution of the National Constituent Assembly in or about 2020, Ronnie became a member of Venezuela's National Assembly between in or about 2021 and in or about 2024. Rondo. Seriously, everybody, forgive me, but I can't do it. I just can't do it. Rondo. Hold on, let me just write that down though, because it's funny. Okay, Okay, got it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Also known as Ronnie. I will put that over there as well. That's on my Race Ips sticky note. Just say it, however. Like Chrome Dome. Really? Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. I'll keep working on it. Easier names true. And we're splitting. We're splitting tonight. So the first half of the live, we're going to do this, and then we will switch over to Jack Smith's testimony because we got to keep going on that one for sure. All right. So this a different fella. Ramon, the defendant, is a Venezuelan politician and former member of the armed forces who served as the Minister of Interior and Justice between in or about 2002 to 2008. Between in or about 2012, and in or about 2017, he was the governor of Venezuela's Guerico state. I don't know what that is either. I'm not sure what these things are that they've got here. 22 minutes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so Ms. Flores, the defendant, is the de facto First Lady of Venezuela, having married Maduro, the defendant, in or about 2013. Flores has had a long-standing political career. Flores has acted as the president of the National Assembly, starting when Maduro left that role to become the Minister of Foreign Affairs between in or about 2006 and in or about 2011, as the Attorney General of Venezuela between in or around 2012 and in or around 2013, and as a member of the National Constituent Assembly starting in or about 2017. All right, so that's the wife. I am going to fast forward through the others here. This is available online for you, but I would like to kind of get into some of the facts and the charges themselves here. Well, we've got a little bit of time. But there are a few more paragraphs setting out the other people that are here. Hello, Carol. Hello. Oh, hi, hey, yo. Happy to be here. Happy to be here, everybody. Could have a better subject, but we're doing what we can, right? So here's our first one. The narco terrorist organizations working in partnership with the defendants. So we're going to kind of go through this a little quicker because these are other organizations that are kind of like building this defense against anyone coming to get them. So the first one is the FARC. Since its founding in 1964, has become one of the largest producers of powdered sugar cookies in the world. The FARC has generated significant revenue through its powdered sugar trafficking, which it used to fund its operations, including, for example, large-scale weapons purchases and terrorist attacks. All right, so FARC is number one here. Yes, the DOJ is where I found it, Department of Justice. Not much else accurately found there, but this was. Ooh, bitterness, sorry. All right, next, the ELN, we'll call it ELM, has operated as a Colombian tea group since 1965, dedicated to the violent overthrow of the democratically elected government of Colombia. So they're also involved in that as well. Again, I'm kind of skipping through the extras here. Countries a lot, really? Yeah, I kind of get that feeling too, actually. It seems like, whoa, everything's rushed. All right, this one's not going to be correct. Sinaloa cartel, based in the Mexican state of Sinaloa, has its roots in the late 1980s when the so-called Mexican Federation functioned as a council with representatives from the respective drug trafficking organizations of its principal leaders. Oh, wow. So they had a whole bad guy retreats together. That's interesting. During the late 1980s and 1990s, the members of the Mexican Federation partnered with the Colombian sources to transport drugs through Mexico and into the United States. Oh, thank you so much. I did great. Thanks. I'm trying. All right, so we'll fast forward again here because, again, we want to kind of grab those charges. Sorry, the tang waits for no one. All right, here we go. So here's this cartel, and we've got some early 2000s with El Chapo and El Mayo. I wonder if Mr. Mayo knows about El Mayo. I don't know. All right, we have a partnership here of bad guys, and they're getting together and having parties and stuff. And next, we have the Zetas, later known as the Cartel del Noreste, CDN, is a violent and prolific transnational roof. Sorry, I don't even know what that word was. I was trying to say rug. Rug organization based on the northeastern Mexico. Oh, thank you so much. Mexico involved in the rug trafficking, kidnapping, extortion, human smuggling, and other illicit activities. The Zetas use violence to exert criminal control, including attacks against government officials in Mexico. Between in or about 2000 and in or about 2010, the Zetas formed an alliance with the Gulf Cartel, a group of rug traffickers primarily based in northern Mexico, whereby the Zetas served as the armed militaristic wing of the Gulf Cartel to maintain control of the rug trafficking routes through Mexico. So now it's starting to come together, right? Are you following the geographic stuff? United Socialist Party of Venezuela. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right. VC. Yes. All right. Fast forward. TDA. We've heard a lot about TDA already. So, gang, bad people doing bad things to other people that are illegal. All right, so keep fast forwarding. We have now, let's see, because this was 7, we did 6, 7, and here's 8. So here's our next big head note here. I do. I know, gasp, where are my pearls? All right, next big piece, the defendants corrupt rug trafficking and connections to narco-terrorist groups. So what they're going to do here is set out the contact he's had with the other groups that they just listed. All right, so if you're following along here in the organization of the indictment, they've set out all the defendants. They've said that they're bad people and the years that they were bad people. All of the other groups, so these would be basically how we would view it if it was the espionage case down in Florida. This would be the unnamed co-conspirators is what we would probably call that on an indictment if we were following the rules and stuff. All right, next. So that's who they're fighting with, and then now they're going to show how they know each other, right? Here we go. Reference, there's a sun insignia affixed to uniforms and high-ranking Venezuelan military officials. So again, trying to identify the good guys versus the bad guys. Guys, gals, and pals, and I include everyone when I say guys. It's just quicker to say guys, and I'm a little bit lazy about it. All right, starting in or about 1999, Venezuela became a safe haven for rug traffickers willing to pay for protection and support. Corrupt Venezuelan civilian and military officials who operated outside the reach of the Colombian law enforcement and armed forces, bolstered by United States anti-narc assistance. There we go. 15 minutes. Okay, I've got 15 minutes left. Thomas, are we counting down? I'm just making sure. We're counting down, not up. I'm not 15 minutes over the timer, am I? What? Yes. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah, I think it's... Okay, thank you, Thomas. All right, woohoo, here we go. Pick up the pace. All right, in that environment, the powdered sugar trafficking flourished here. The officials, all of these people here, partnered with the traffickers and the terrorist groups who dispatched processed powder from Venezuela to the United States via transshipment. The puzzle, everybody. The puzzle came too soon. Hold on. Oh, my goodness. Fingers crossed, everybody. Okay, here we go. Can we do it? All the colors look the same. Come on. Oh, we got it. Oh, my gosh, that was so stressful. Oh, that was so stressful. Thank you, Bruce Wayne's mother. I appreciate the support. Oh, my gosh. I tell you, if I miss it on the first one, the next couple tries are always rough. All right, back into it. Here we go. So they were aligned with other groups here regarding oh dear. Man, I just don't even know what's happening. For some reason, I feel like, is it the CIA? Are you out there, CIA? This is perfectly legal what I'm doing here, you know? You don't have to get all cranky about it. I've already submitted all of my paperwork to you, so so you should know who I am now. Hold on, everybody. I gotta talk to the CIA for a minute. Y'all mind? Oh, I laugh so I don't cry. Here we go. Back up and running. Here we go. At least I'm not in the back of an old pickup truck, you know, riding around trying to get signals. So there's that. All right, here we are. Thanks, CIA. We're just learning here. We don't know anything about anything. We're just learning. Really? It's the glitch. Yikes. I know. Can I have my time back? Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, my gosh. All right. Everyone's ready here. Sit down, hush up. It's good to see you. Intraday sun, always good. So here we go. They're trafficked. Where did we stop? We stopped at the trafficking. Here, transshipment points in the Caribbean and Central America, such as Honduras, Guatemala, and Mexico. By in or about 2020, the State Department estimated that between 200 and 250 tons of the powdered cookies were trafficked through Venezuela annually. That seems like a lot when you think about it in tonnage, but the maritime shipments were shipped from the Venezuela's coastline using go fast vessels, fishing boats, and container ships. Air shipments were often dispatched from clandestine airstrips, typically made of dirt or grass, and also from commercial airports under the control of the corrupt government and military officials. Again, this is the indictment. So this is very heavy in favor of the government, right? So the federal government, the U.S. federal government is setting this out. And with these kind of introductory pieces, this is how they're building up to the point where they can charge the first couple of counts in here, all right? So this is the context to the counts that are coming up in the indictment. We gotta stop her. Stop. No, not from stating the obvious. That's my favorite thing to state. Oh my gosh. Yes. All right, here we go. Through this trafficking situation, Maduro, the defendant, and corrupt members of his regime enabled corruption fueled by drug trafficking throughout the region. The transshipment points in Honduras, Guatemala, and Mexico similarly relied on a culture of corruption in which the cookie traffickers operating in these countries paid a portion of their own profits to politicians who protected and aided them, right? That's what everybody does. I mean, that's like what they do in Russia. Like every day, you need to make sure you've got your bribe money on you, or you're gonna have some troubles. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is 20 years in the making. So we've got multiple different presidents, DOJs here. All right. So this is not just one, Biden or one orange guy or one Obama. No, this is a mix for 20 years of what's been going on. And it's looking like, again, though, what triggered this, and I'm not sure, although I'm wondering if perhaps it has to do with the ships, right? Like, we don't really know who the people were that were on the boats that were, boomed, but there was a lot of talk about that. And it seems like those numbers are going down. I may be completely wrong, but I'm not hearing about it as much because, boom, now we're actually focusing in on the country. Right, Orange Columbus. It's all fishy cat juice, you're right. Oh, really? Kathleen Cox Richardson. Oh my gosh. All-star person. She does such great work. Ready in Exactly, they had it ready, and it's a superseding one again, right? So they did still need to call in a grand jury. Fast forward here, we've got probably 10 minutes here until we need to flip. So I'm gonna kind of get to the to steal into the countryside. Well, of course, that's why it's so much like the Desert Storm Hussein situation. That's, like resources is what they were after, not world peace for sure. Overt acts in furtherance of the defendant's rug trafficking and narco terrorism conspiracies. So again, we have to remember overt acts don't necessarily mean that they're illegal, but in furtherance of a conspiracy is what's needed for you to prove conspiracy, right? So this is the moment here, acts in furtherance. Here we have, and I'm going to do real quick here, everybody, right? The inchoate offenses, which if you learn nothing from me, except for this, I will have done my job. We have inchoate offenses, clearly misspelled, but they're solicitation. Solicitation, meaning you're asking someone to do a crime for you. Attempt, like you just didn't, it didn't take, but you attempted to do it. Some people escaping without the end result being unalived. And then we have conspiracy. All right. So there's 3 inchoate offenses. The reason that we separate them is because for all of our crimes out there, we need an act, we need an intent, and then that equals the crime. And then from there, you can take off defenses. But what's important here is the act isn't the actual act that we're going after in an inchoate offense. We're going after the planning. We're going after the significant steps towards making it happen rather than, oh, it happened, and working backwards. That's what's unique about inchoate offenses, all right? So you going and asking someone to commit an offense for you, those words are not protected by the First Amendment. You could get charged, even if that other person just went to the police the next day and said, dude, whatever. Or attempt, like you were trying, but you didn't really know how, and the person was fine anyway. That morphs into whatever crime that it was supposed to originally be. And then conspiracy, 2 or more people who are working together to make a plan to do something unlawful and have taken certain steps going forward in furtherance. So these overt acts, if you remember the Georgia RICO case, we had, I think, what was it, maybe 280 overt acts. Again, they don't have to be illegal. An overt act could be a telephone call between 2 of the conspirators here, right? It's not illegal to have a telephone call, but that could be seen as one of the acts that the people involved in the conspiracy are trying to do. All right. So there you go. That's quick. That's very quick. Overview. Inchoate offenses, we love those for learning purposes only. Let's fast forward again. I do want to get into these counts. I know there's counts in here. We've got sub B, sub A, sub C here. Foreign Minister of Affairs sold Venezuelan diplomatic passports to individuals that Maduro knew were traffickers. Fast forwarding further here, a plane was loaded with rug proceeds. The plane would then return to Venezuela under diplomatic cover. Wow. No, I don't think he cares about the rugs. Yeah, I don't think he can speak from a place of credibility when he did pardon the Honduras fella, because that was really awful. That was really awful. I mean, it was hundreds of tons, right? It was really awful. All right. Fast forwarding. So, and then next they're going to go again into some more of the dastardly deeds that are involved here. I'm kind of cruising through. We can come 400 tons. Oh my gosh. Yep. 8 minutes. All right, Thomas. All right, so they're setting out all of the bad acts. And this would be the part of the Georgia indictment. And I just like to refer to our prior indictments for teaching purposes, because I think it can be very helpful to look at these cases that we spent so much time on and learning and figuring out how stuff works. Although I think I put the Georgia one in the other room. Did I? I did. Whoops. Anyway. I'm not sure how many overt steps we're going to have here, but they're still going through them in here. All right. Fonnie Willis for president. I'd vote for her. All right, so again, they're just adding in the people and the bad acts in here. I've not viewed this either, so I'm not sure if we've got some kind of problems with the language in the TikTok. I'm fast forwarding here so we can get to the actual charges themselves. Thank you very much, Selson. I appreciate that. All right, here we go. Count one. Count one. We made it. Here. I have it on a post-it on the wall. Listen, Joe Boo, is that some sass? Are you sassing me, Joe Boo? Because you're not wrong. I just don't remember which wall. I need to make a map. 3-minute warning. No. Let's go. Here we go. All right. Statutory allegations, count one, narco terrorism conspiracy. So again, this conspiracy is that inchoate offense I was talking to you about. So we don't need to have actual success in completing the crime here. Don't be sassy. Oh, right. So they're incorporating all of the information from before. And here, from at least in or about 1999, up to and including in or about 2025, in an offense begun and committed out of the jurisdiction of any particular state or district of the United States. All right, so who has jurisdiction? I don't know. The defendants and others known and unknown, at least one of whom has been and will be first brought to and arrested in the Southern District of New York, intentionally and knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed together and with each other to violate Title 21 of the U.S. Code Section 960A. This is where, and I was a little worried about this here. Yes, just a few minutes here. I was worried that this is what was going to happen because just looking at this, and they're charging a conspiracy, which is something that didn't happen yet. You need to have, again, 2 or more people. And then you need to see what their clear intent is, the purpose behind whatever it is they're doing. Now, I'm not sure. There is a lot of information earlier in the indictment about the bad things that the people were doing, right? So a ship here out of Florida, speaking to other bad people, some people in New York receiving the shipments, but it's not very clear on if they're actually in this territory doing the wrong things other than accepting the powdered sugar. Because of that, it's going to thin the indictment out, right? So one count here is we have to prove a conspiracy. We don't have to prove that they did any of the stuff that's already been mentioned. We just have to prove that they were trying to do that. And I think that's real weak. That's a very weak charge to have on an international criminal here. It is very, very concerning. Exactly. So it's distressing because you don't want to come in here. You're like what? The military, you're hearing the G.I. Joe theme song. You're jumping out of the helicopters. You're doing what needs to be done to protect the Americans that you are protecting, right? And then you all go home and it's like, well, they were arranging this thing with their friends. So let's, no, get some stuff, man. You got 20 years. That's plenty of time to get you some real evidence. Right here, what I'm looking at, not so much. Not so much. How do we even test for low quality? That's a great question. Exactly. And again, I'm not sure it's about the quality. Really, with these guys, it's the quality that the Popo are looking at. 20 years is a lot of time, right? Right. All right. I know I've only got a couple minutes left here, and then we got to switch over to Jack. But here we go. So count 2. We've got the powdered sugar cookie importation conspiracy. Again, another conspiracy. So we're still kind of walking down that RICO road. Now, I'm not familiar with federal RICO cases. We went through the Georgia one. There have been several out of Georgia. But I will probably want to take a look at this further when I pull the code sections up. I mean, I just printed this out just before I started talking. But I think a RICO would be appropriate if that was in play. But I think the hardest thing right now is to show the connections between U.S. Jurisdiction and what these guys were doing, guys and gals. All right, that's the problem here. Like, how is it that the U.S. has jurisdiction over these people? Because they have some like anecdotal testimony about, like, this was the ship, this one moved in, this one didn't, or, well, this is what we're seeing happening and we think it's really bad. Like, that's not how our criminal indictments should be set out. Now they're going to come back and say grand jury indicted, and that's true, and that's important. But we have to remember grand jury only indicts on probable cause, which is a far cry from beyond a reasonable doubt here. The RICO indictment, it got tangled up, Patricia. It got tangled up. Miss Willis had to, leave the building, and that left, for that case, that left some other fella coming in, but he decided to go ahead and dismiss it. It's been dismissed without prejudice, so it could be brought back, but right now it's just too much of a tangled mess to deal with. So I think they'll be talking about it once he gets out of office again. Trying to get away with unaliving people in the boats. Yes, Mama Vanna, that's what I'm thinking. Right? They could indict a donut. Well, it's possible. We do know, though, no sandwiches, right? Thanks to the Subway fella in D.C. No, you cannot indict a Subway sandwich. All right. I'm getting off the road here. Off-roading. So count 2, again, we've got another conspiracy. So count 3 here. All right, possession of these. Now I'm going to need to know what exactly those are here, because I think there's different definitions depending on your country, and possession laws too. So I'm not sure exactly what the possession laws are either. Like, I guess, I don't know. Is there a line between, people coming in and visiting and then leaving again after they drop their stuff off? Are they not allowed to have arms? I don't know. I just don't know. Well, that's a good question too, Selson. I don't know. All right, and destructive devices. So apparently they brought some stuff into the U.S. Oh, look, from 1999. From at least in or about 1999, up to and including in or about 2025, and an offense begun and committed out of the jurisdiction of any particular state or district of the United States, and for which at least 1 or 2 or more joint offenders has been and will be first brought to and arrested in the Southern District of New York. This week, everybody. Again, I do not prosecute international, gang tribe stuff. I don't do any of that. But for me, just looking at the information, yes, it's time. All right, thanks, Thomas. Let's just flip through. I'll tell you the other ones I missed, and then I will dive in. We got to spend a little time with Jack. He's been working hard, man. Count 4, conspiracy to possess these items. So we have count 3 would be the you have possessions of it, right? And then count 4 is the conspiracy to be able to get those into your hands. So again, we've got that inchoate offense here that's going to kind of muddy the water a little bit. So then going through here, forfeiture allegations, which you include if you have a property and you've used it for the criming, then the government can come in through a forfeiture and take that from you. There are rules, there are ways you have to follow certain protocols and stuff, but so I've noticed they like to really be specific when they can be. Sometimes it's like all cars used or all phones used, something like that. But if they can be specific and put it in here, then they don't have to fight about it so much during trial. Oh, thanks, Real Life Works. Yes, hi. All right, here we go. So here's some stuff that they want. They want the these things here. They want all of those things here. And then at the end, substitute assets provision down here. So that's it then, everyone. We do conclude this. We have a U.S. attorney for whatever that's worth over here. Again, we don't know how these U.S. attorneys are doing stuff because We do know that the one lady who was doing stuff with Letitia James and Comey, she wasn't doing it properly. She did not know how to present to a grand jury, did not know the protocols, procedures. And so her indictments were jacked up along with the record following the indictments, right? I don't know who this guy is. He might be, jacked up also. And so he may be pleading this incorrectly as well, and this may not be true information. We just don't know because I haven't Googled his name and tried to figure out where he's at. This is what happens when you lose respect for the Department of Justice, like the entire Department of Justice. We don't know if they're good or bad until we see them going forward on cases, and then it's too late. You know what I mean? So that's just very unfortunate. He was just installed. Yeah. Right. Started or ended. Yeah. Was this legal? There's a lot of working parts here. A lot of working parts. So some things definitely were not legal, but other things might be all right. Right. Don't use credentials when they sign documents. Well, he doesn't even have his number on here, which I think is weird. You're supposed to at least put your bar number on there, dude. I don't know what's going on here. Them moving first before we found out. And Kimberly, that's how they're doing it over and over and over again, right? So the boats in the water. I mean, how did we even find out they were doing that, right? Who told? Who was the catalyst that brought it to the attention of the American people so that we would pay attention to what's going on in international waters, right? And so all of this is all connected. Those kinds of things within the water, in the boats, that's pretty hinky in my opinion, from what I've heard regarding international water law and military law too, quite frankly. God, you should be using our soldiers for that kind of stuff. But in my opinion, this is my opinion. So that's some kind of crazy businessels there. Why was this brought to New York? Good question. So we've got to have some kind of a connection between the jurisdiction that we're in and the people that we're after. So here, I'm going to assume it's because of the part where they're saying they're having meetings and bringing in product into New York. So I'm thinking that's like the most movement was involving New York. That's my guess. But this is where the grand jury was pulled. I'm surprised this isn't in DC, honestly. New York, I know it's like top 5, sure, but we're in federal court. And so other than if someone's got some kind of a jurisdiction in New York that I'm not sure about, Don Jr., maybe. Maybe in part because of and good point, because the United Nations are there, right? Most of the crimes involved. Well, and there's a lot of pieces for New York's involvement here for sure. I'm not sure if they love sugar cookies more. In my humble opinion, I'm not sure. I think they would be running with, I would like to see California, but I'm not sure. Because I feel like if your powdered sugar cookie is not on a salad, they're not going to eat it out there. I'm sorry, Californians. I'm just jealous. We still have snow on the ground. So I'm going to be mean. That's mean. Oh, I know. It's too sweet. Tremendous port. Right. I mean, again, right? That's one of the doors that's opened to international waters as well. So, all right, everybody, here we go. Epstein files over. Never, Lynn. They're never over. Here we go. Thanks for keeping your eye on the time for me, Thomas, and everybody else helping. I appreciate that. As promised, then we've got a little bit of time here to make it through a little bit more of Jack Smith's testimony. So, with your 75 degrees, hush, Navy vet. Yikes! I'm going to have to pick on you next time I see you. All right, with your heat wave. Let me write this out again here. So we've got a deposition Jack Smith, right? So this fella, he's just like a cool cucumber. I don't know if people say that anymore, if they're not boomers, but he was so calm when he was doing this deposition. It was like amazing. Oh my gosh, yes, quite right, quite right. There are actual, you can see him and you can go watch the deposition. I prefer to look through the record first before I watch, just to see if I'm, kind of in the same place that they are here. So we had our deposition, and this was December 17th here. And then this deposition was in front of Congress, Committee on the Judiciary. So I'm just going to say Congress here, okay? Here we go, Congress. And we are in part 2. I've read a few pages so far. We'll head on into part 2. It wasn't supposed to be televised. Well, it was recorded. It was recorded, so it was put onto YouTube. But really, oh, nice. Nice Midas touch, yeah. Yeah, he does. In my opinion, I didn't even know who he was. And then I started to watch how he was working these cases that were absolutely ludicrous. And I was like, yeah. All right, here we go. We had gone to page 33, everybody. This is available online for anyone who's interested. This is, again, Jack Smith's deposition. And let me see if I can find exactly where it was. Cool-headed. Oh, yeah. I mean, that'll make or break your credibility with a jury. If you remain calm during those cross-examination questions and chill, like this isn't any big deal, the jury catches that, and they have a tendency to lean more towards, well, this person knows what they're talking about. It's no big deal because they're not all upset about it. That's a two-sided sword, though, because sometimes you can get a victim testifying and they're very calm and in control, and then the jury will come back and say, well, if something like this had happened, it seemed like they'd be upset. So there's really no good way to go about it. Here we go. Let's move this, and we'll come over here, and it looks like I even made a little tick here. We're going to dive just straight back in. These are attorneys that are working for the Republicans that are asking the questions, all right? And then Jack is answering. So, did you develop evidence that President Trump, was responsible for the violence at the Capitol on January 6th? We're just going to dive right in here, everybody. And Jack says, so our view of the evidence was that he caused it and that he exploited it and that it was foreseeable to him. But you don't have any evidence that he instructed people to crash the Capitol, do you? As I said, our evidence is that he, in the weeks leading up to January 6th, created a level of distrust. He used that level of distrust to get people to believe fraud claims that weren't true. He made false statements to state legislatures, to his supporters in all sorts of contexts, and he was aware in the days leading up to January 6th that his supporters were angry when he invited them, and then he directed them to the Capitol. Now, once they were at the Capitol and once the attack on the Capitol happened, he refused to stop it. He instead issued a tweet that, without question in my mind, endangered the life of his own vice president. And when the violence was going on, he had to be pushed repeatedly by his staff members to do anything to quell it. And then even afterwards, he directed co-conspirators to make calls to members of Congress, people who were his political allies, to further delay the proceedings. You sought gag orders in both the Florida case and the D.C. case, is that correct? We sought an order in the D.C. case under a rule. I think it's 57.2. And we did that because Donald Trump was making statements that were endangering witnesses. Intimidating. Whoops, hold on, everybody. Hold on here. Okay. That were endangering witnesses, intimidating witnesses, endangering members of my staff, endangering court staff. As you might remember, in the right around when the indictment was released, he issued a tweet saying, quote, "If you come after me, I'll come after you," end quote. He called General Mark Milley a traitor and mentioned that what he'd done in olden times, people would be put to unalive as a result of the things he was saying. The judge in this case received vile unalive threats. And with respect to DC, both the district court and court of appeals, a panel of judges found that his actions were in fact causing what we said they caused. They were causing witnesses to be intimidated and endangering people. And I believe it was the Court of Appeals also found that in addition to intimidating or chilling witnesses who existed, it would chill witnesses who had not yet come forward because they were afraid that they would be next. So yes, we did file that, and I make no apologies for that. Yeah, we have not heard anything really from Jack Smith throughout this whole process, except for his first volume that he sent out after the espionage case was dismissed. So it's always very interesting to see when they're starting to justify what it was that they're doing. Which witnesses do you think he would have intimidated? I mean, are there any specific witnesses that you could identify for the court? We did a filing. I don't recall the specifics in that filing right now, but as I said, one of the issues from my perspective was not only the witnesses who he had specifically called out and caused threats to be issued. This phenomena that was found by both courts, it was the result of that is that a rational witness who maybe had not come forward would be completely afraid because they would see that they would be next. And I think both courts agreed with that. Well, I mean, the Circuit Court of Appeals ultimately slimmed down the gag order. Is that correct? It did, yes. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to put this to the side. Now, I understand everybody's running around talking about a gag order. We would call this a temporary protective order here. In regular language, but they keep, for some reason, referring to it as a gag order. And I think that's because that's the language he set for it when it really first hit the table in the DC case, everyone. So this would be a restraining order, typically, rather than a gag order. Just FYI. Right. All right. And what was the difference between the gag order you proposed and Judge Chutkin agreed to and the final gag order that the DC Circuit approved? Okay, I'm going off recollection. I know one of the differences was him making threatening statements towards me personally was was allowed in I think it was the district court. In our application, we thought that shouldn't be allowed. I will share with you what I told my staff, that it was much more important to me that he not be able to issue threats to the court staff and my staff than me. And so the Court of Appeals did narrow it in that way. And as we're sitting here now, I'm not debating you that they narrowed it. I just can't remember the specifics of the details. Okay. But the phenomena, they concurred that the phenomena I'm describing to you today was real. Okay. And it had real world consequences. 18 U.S. Code Section 1512 deals with tampering with witnesses. Do you identify any violations of 18 U.S. Code Section 1512? We did not bring any charges. And did you allege that he violated any of the terms of his release? We did not. They might be thinking of Georgia, where Miss Fonnie Willis came in and did file a violation. We had a moment there where we're all like, "Oh, are they going to take him to jail?" No, they did not. But that's how that went. I want to turn to the member toll records topic. What's the difference between a subpoena for toll records and a 2703D order? Well, a subpoena for toll records is non-content, doesn't have any content, doesn't have like the header of, say, an email, things of that nature. Whereas I think a 20, if I'm correct in the terminology, I think a 2703D would be regarding emails, and it could have information like that. Could have content. Well, at least, again, this is my recollection. I haven't looked at this issue in some time. Okay, but I think it means it's not content, but it could at least have, say, the header, like, of the message, like, not the content of the message, but it might include the header. Did you use any 2703D orders on members of Congress or senators or their staff? I do not recall that at this time. Those records are going to be the end of everything. All of our sanity. They're going to interview us in a couple of years. They're like, well, what was it that was really the moment? It's like, yeah, it was the toll records that did it. All right. Let me take a peek here. I am starting to feel a little bit, getting my throat a little bit sore, but I do want to go through a couple more pages of this. All right. Oh, good. We've got a good 7 point. A couple more pages here, everybody. All right. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, my little wands. I love them. I know, the toll records. That's going to be the end of us. Here we go. And so there was a little break, and now we're back. 1106. Did you use any pen registers? Let's have you just walk us through what a pen register is and trap and trace. Yes, my understanding or my recollection is a pen register or trap and trace is a thing where you're watching who someone is calling going forward. Like, so, if there was a trap and a trace on my phone, it would see going forward from today who I called. In a pen register, I'm mixing up the terminology, but one is like calls in and the other one calls out. Okay, and did you use any of those techniques on members of Congress, senators, or their staff? I don't recall anything like that. Okay, and when you say you don't recall, you think the answer is no, but you don't? You're not able to give a definitive answer? Or, yeah, I have nothing in my memory that tells me that we did anything like that. Okay, and so with the toll record, so as it relates to members and their staff and senators, it's just the toll records as far as you remember. That's my recollection. Okay, and well, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Before I was special counsel, the people who were working on one of the investigations did get a search warrant for one of the cell phones of one congressman, Congressman Perry. Congressman Perry? Yes, we are very familiar with that, with the toll record subpoena. Maybe just walk us through like what you get. You get the incoming, the telephone numbers that call a particular cell phone, right? That's correct. And you get time that the call occurred. Yes. And you get do you get the length of time of a call? I believe that's correct. Okay, and you also get the list of numbers that the outgoing, you get the incoming and outgoing, right? That's correct. And is there any other information that the toll record subpoenas provide? That is what I understand is the major thing you're seeking to get with the toll records. Okay, and when you get one of those subpoenas, you just send it to the carrier, correct? It doesn't involve the judge. The subpoena, yes, that is correct. Okay, it doesn't require a judge. The only time a judge gets involved is if you're seeking a non-disclosure order. Is that right? If it's a subpoena for toll records, that's correct. Okay, and do you always seek is it the practice of your team to always seek the NDO? Well, in this particular case, there was a grave risk of obstruction of justice, given the obstructive conduct of the orange as is set forth, for example, in the indictment in Florida, which also had a superseding indictment as well. The orange tried to obstruct that case in multiple ways. Then, as I mentioned earlier in the litigation we had regarding 57.2, We had numerous instances of him attempting to, in our view, intimidate witnesses or keep them from cooperating. And so, given that reality, we did seek non-disclosure orders for the toll record subpoenas you're talking about. Okay, and ordinarily you just go to, how do you pick your judge? Ooh, this is, you don't want to put that question in like that. All right, how do you pick your judge for that when you're seeing the NDOs? Some of them were signed by the chief judge, and then others were signed by a magistrate Judge David Baker, at least as relates to the members. How do you pick the judge, or do they pick it for you? All right, this is a red flag when someone is asking these kinds of questions. It means they have no experience in criminal law. They have no experience in doing trial work to be asking these kinds of questions. Right. And let's see how Jack responds. I don't know that we pick the judge. I have to say, in my role in this, I wouldn't have known that. I don't know that even a prosecutor can pick the judge, which they cannot. Okay, but I don't know what local practice in Washington, D.C. would be on that. Sometimes I think Boasberg signed the NDOs for the senators, and then as it related to Speaker McCarthy and some of our members on the Judiciary Committee, it was Magistrate Judge David Baker. So you don't have any idea why a common practice in my experience as a prosecutor, certainly when I was a prosecutor in Brooklyn, is that there will be a duty judge or duty magistrate. And so whoever's on duty that day is who you go to. Okay, I just want to be clear in this case. I don't have any recollection. Okay. If that's how it works in D.C., but it may well have been that way. Okay, and these NDO orders, at least the ones we've seen, are all the same. Is that fair? Is that a fair statement? I think they're usually very similar, yes. Okay, and you submit a proposed order, correct, for the judge to sign? That is correct. And part of the language in this states the court must find reasonable grounds to believe that such disclosure will result in flight from prosecution, destruction, or tampering with evidence, intimidation of potential witnesses, and serious jeopardy to the investigation. Is that something you remember? Yes. These are in the law, and the number is escaping me right now, but in the law that sets forth the reasons why you could get a non-disclosure order, I believe those are the different prongs, if you will, of the statute. Right. Oh, and there's the word. Right. As it relates to members of Congress and senators, and definitely their staff as well. I mean, that presents concern that we don't have an opportunity to, quash the subpoena. How does your office deal with that prospect? Well, the nature, and I should also be clear here that when you're getting an NDO, say for toll records, it's not based on an allegation that necessarily the person who has the phone number is personally going to obstruct the investigation. It's that if this gets out, people could obstruct the investigation. So I want to make that clear. The second point would be you are correct in that inherent in getting the NDO is that at various times, people who might have arguments about why to quash a subpoena won't be able to make those arguments. In our investigation, this came up with Twitter. We wanted to get records from Twitter regarding President Orange, Twitter, and we applied for an NDO from the judge. Twitter refused to provide the records unless they could tell President Orange about that. And so we had litigation with this in district court. The district court agreed that there are situations, and there it was that Twitter argued that President Orange should be able to assert executive privilege over the records we wanted. And as a result of that litigation, the district court found that it was proper of us, given the level of obstruction in this case, to get an NDO. That decision by the district court was upheld by the Court of Appeals, and then that decision by the Court of Appeals Twitter, my recollection is Twitter sought to get the Supreme Court to overrule that, and the Supreme Court refused to. And so I tell you all that to say, and then you find them, right? Well, actually, that's before. They refused to comply even after she ruled, and she set a schedule of fines. And so part of the appeal was, and you sought the fines, right? Absolutely, yes. Okay, but the point of telling you that was that inherent to the NDO is it may be that certain arguments about why a subpoena should be quashed can't be made. Can't be made here, and I'm going to go through that quash here in a second, everyone. So that happens, and I think there's a parallel in those situations. When it comes to members of Congress, though, there are, the speech and debate protections, which you totally sidestepped. I mean, the toll records provide enormous valuable information because it shows who a member of Congress, who a senator is taking calls from, and who they're calling. And if you map it up against the Senate or House calendar, you can see, what the inputs are to their legislative decision making, which is at the core of the speech and debate. No, I don't know about that. Do you agree with that? And with that, my friends, will be our stopping point for today on this. Because if I learn any more about the tolls, I may go a bit bonkers. Oh, all right. So that was pretty good. We made it through several more pages. Again, I do want to keep going. This information coming through in this deposition for Jack is just amazing. I mean, it's just really amazing to be able to get this kind of inside peek at what's going on here. Oh, you're very, very welcome, everyone. Very welcome. So I'm not sure exactly how I want to do the order here of my different topics yet. I haven't figured that out. But I think I will probably start picking out the big pieces of his deposition to go forward on rather than, every sentence. I think that'd be helpful. And then we still have the Constitution to go through, and we have our Maine, U.S. versus Maine case. And then, of course, we have our historical cases on U.S. history, which would be Brown v. Board of Education, Plessy versus Ferguson, Dred Scott, all of those cases as well. So lots to do, fun later. You got toll records as a prosecutor, didn't you? We didn't call them that. We did not call any of our phone records toll records. I guess we called them just phone records, I guess. Right? I mean, we did. Yes, Fahrenheit. Oh my gosh, thanks everybody for all the likes. That's so sweet. So I needed, oh my gosh, especially in this one case that was so bad. It was an attempted unaliving by a group. It was a group that was having a party, and someone came to the party that they didn't like, and they just almost unalived him and then dragged him down the road. And that almost unalived him as well. He was in critical condition, had to get flown out to a specialty hospital or just a regular hospital. We didn't have one there. But it was very important to sort out who called who. Who called all the people to come over and cause the harm? Because they were putting the calls out like, hey, you want to come over and, kind of be awful towards this person. So we used a lot of those records in that case to kind of track the timeline. But we never called them the toll records. Yeah, we never called them that, phone records. But, I can see why that would be used archaically. That's fine. I mean, who are we, right? At least they know how to use their phones. I'm sorry, I'm talking about the super, super duper old Congress people. Extremely super old. You're very welcome, June Marie. Very, very welcome. Time to bam fuss it. Actually, you know what? I was thinking what I might do, because I have so much fun with Manda and Army Barbie over there when they hit their numbers. I was thinking that we could do something like, this is so dorky, but if we, for every 100,000, I was thinking I could explain like a Latin term. Is that stupid? I don't know. Maybe that's stupid. Everyone's like, we don't care about Latin terms. Like my first one I'm trying to put together here was going to be res ipsa loquitur. Maybe. What's the purpose of Jack's depositions? Um, yeah, well, we'll see. I'm still, kicking it around. The thing about his deposition is that when they call people in for depositions, they don't call it because they want to hear what that person has to say. They call them so that they can make a big frickin' deal and put on a show, right? So they had Jack Smith in front of them where they could start preaching at him and telling them, well, this and this, and you are this and this and this. And he's just so, clean cut. He's like, what? 1, 2, 3, got it. 4, 5, don't know what you're talking about. Let's move forward. So this is more of like showboating for a lot of people. But then on the other hand, you do get some people in that are trying to say, let's lay it down for the public. This might be the only time that they hear it, right? So this might be the only moment where they're understanding how this process is working, and Jack does a great job of describing that. So, oh my gosh, yeah, I could not think of a better prosecutor when it comes to this idea of fairness, that's supposed to be there. So they do a lot of good work, like the Harlem Globetrotters. Oh, I don't know. I mean, the Globetrotters are so skilled, though, right? Or the banana team in the baseball. I don't know, man. That would just be like on my bucket list to go and see that. I digress, everybody. Is it to bring charges against him? They probably could try. I don't know which prosecutor. It would have to be through the AG's office, through the Department of Justice to come in. The Savannah Bananas, yes. Oh my gosh, they're so good too. Oh, we love that. We love humor in the sports, though, right? Anyway, back to him. Yeah, he could get charged. I had no idea what the offense would be at all. And at all. In anything he did or said during both cases, the espionage case as well as the DC case, they were handled like, and we talked about it during these lives when I was going through the paperwork. We talked about how careful everything was being said and written and recorded because they knew all of it was probably going to hit the U.S. Supreme Court. So it was a lot. But with that, my friends, head on over. I bet Manda's probably up and running now. I may be over there later to just, Hulk out for fun. Thank you all for coming. I'll be back again very soon. So take care.